Israeli forces killed 5 Palestinians in Gaza despite ceasefire. Trump reflects on legacy, says he's unsure of making heaven. India warms to Taliban. Afghan foreign ministers visit signals a diplomatic shift. Madagascar president dissolves parliament amid army-backed protests. Good afternoon. Welcome to The World in 30 Minutes on Politics and Business Television. I'm Fatima Abubakar Oibo. Many thanks for joining us. Details of this news stories and more content to come after the short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now the news in details. Despite a recently brokered ceasefire, Israeli forces have killed 5 Palestinians in Gaza City's Shuja'i neighborhood. The incident occurred as tensions remained high following a U.S.-mediated peace deal signed by President Donald Trump and leaders from Qatar, Egypt and Turkey. Israeli authorities claim the individuals approached military personnel stationed along a redeployment line, allegedly violating the ceasefire terms. The killings have sparked outrage and raised concerns about the fragility of the truce, which was intended to end a 2-year conflict between Israel and Hamas. Additional reports indicate 2 more Palestinians were injured in a separate shooting in Khan Yunis. Indonesia has denied visas to Israeli gymnasts, preventing them from competing in the upcoming World Artistic Gymnastics Championship in Jakarta, scheduled for October 19th to 25th. The decision comes amid widespread public opposition and condemnation of Israel's military actions in Gaza. Senior Indonesian officials confirmed the move aligns with directives from President Prabowo Subianto, who recently criticized Israel's operations at the UN General Assembly. Indonesia, which has no formal diplomatic ties with Israel, cited national sentiment and solidarity with Palestine as key reasons for the ban. Human rights organizations have welcomed Lebanon's renewed efforts to seek justice for journalists killed and injured in a 2023 Israeli strike in southern Lebanon. The attack claimed the life of Reuters journalist Issam Abdullah and wounded 6 others, including AFP reporters. Lebanon's Ministry of Justice is now exploring legal avenues to hold Israel accountable, a move praised by groups like Human Rights Watch. They argue that the deliberate targeting of journalists constitutes a war to crime and that victims deserve meaningful accountability. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has stirred global conversation after admitting he's uncertain about his chances of making heaven. Speaking aboard Air Force One en route to Israel, Trump reflected on his role in brokering peace between Israel and Hamas, saying he's proud of the lives improved through his efforts, but joked that it might not be enough to secure a place in heaven. The remarks came in response to questions about his earlier comments linking peace efforts in Ukraine to his hopes of divine reward. While Trump has received international praise for helping end the 2-year Gaza conflict, his candid reflection on faith and legacy has sparked mixed reactions across political and religious circles. In the meantime, Russia's Federal Security Service, FSB, has filed criminal charges against exiled oil tycoon Mikhail Khodorkovsky, accusing him of creating a terrorist organization and plotting to violently seize power. The charges are linked to his support for the Anti-War Committee, a group opposing Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has been banned in the country. Khodorkovsky, once Russia's richest man and a prominent Kremlin critic, previously served a decade in prison on fraud charges widely seen as politically motivated. The FSB claims the committee financed Ukraine paramilitary units and recruited members to overthrow the Russian government. Khodorkovsky has not yet responded publicly to the allegations. You're still watching The World in 30 Minutes live on Politics and Business TV. Still to come, Russia urges calm amid Pakistan-Afghanistan border clashes. Stay with us. Welcome back. Russia has called on both Pakistan and Afghanistan to exercise restraint following deadly clashes along their shared border. The fighting, which erupted over 2 days, resulted in dozens of casualties and disrupted bilateral trade, marking one of the most intense confrontations in recent memory. The Russian foreign minister stated it is closely monitoring the situation and welcomes signs of stabilization. The clashes reportedly began after the Taliban accused Pakistan of orchestrating explosions in Kabul and Paktika, prompting retaliatory attacks on Pakistani military outposts. Both sides exchanged gunfire, artillery, and drone strikes with conflicting death tolls reported. Pakistan claims 23 soldiers were killed, while asserting it eliminated 200 Taliban fighters. Russia joins China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar in urging diplomatic solutions to prevent further escalation. Still talking Asia, in a major diplomatic shift, India is now engaging directly with Afghanistan's Taliban-led government. This comes after Taliban Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi visited New Delhi, marking the first high-level contact since the group took power in 2021. Muttaqi's stop at Darul Uloom Deoband Seminary, an institution influential in shaping Taliban ideology, signals a soft power approach aimed at building trust with Indian stakeholders. India has not formally recognized the Taliban regime, but officials say the outreach is driven by strategic interest, with regional powers like China and Russia maintaining embassies in Kabul. New Delhi is recalibrating its foreign policy to avoid isolation, counter Pakistan's influence, and protect its economic and security interests in Central Asia. This cautious engagement reflects a pragmatic shift in India's approach to a rapidly evolving geopolitical landscape. Coming back to Africa, Cameroon's opposition candidate Issa Chiroma Bakare has unilaterally declared victory in the October 12 presidential election, challenging the decades-long rule of incumbent President Paul Biya. In a video message posted to social media, Chiroma claimed the people had chosen change and urged Biya to concede defeat. He promised to release detailed regional results, asserting that the will of the electorate must be respected. Chiroma's declaration comes ahead of the official results, which are expected within 2 weeks from the country's constitutional council. The government has warned that only results announced by the council are legally binding. Chiroma, a former government minister and long-term ally of Biya, broke ranks earlier this year and rallied support from a coalition of opposition parties. His campaign drew large crowds and tapped into growing public frustration over Biya's 43-year-old rule. And Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina has dissolved the National Assembly after fleeing the country in response to mounting protests backed by segments of the military and police. The decree, announced via social media, came just hours before a planned impeachment vote by lawmakers. Rajoelina, whose whereabouts remain undisclosed, defended the move as necessary to restore order and strengthen democracy. However, opposition leaders and legal experts have questioned the legality of the dissolution, calling it a desperate attempt to cling to power. The political crisis has deepened, with the National Assembly voting overwhelmingly to impeach the president despite his absence. And that wraps up the program, but before we go, the headlines again. Israeli forces kill 5 Palestinians in Gaza despite ceasefire. Trump reflects on legacy, says he's unsure of making heaven. India warms to Taliban.